Let's dive in. Today, we're going to go on a pretty cool journey. We'll start with the basics of automation, the simple stuff, and then build our way up to creating actual AI agents that can think and act for themselves. And we're going to do it all with a tool called n8n.
But let's kick things off with a big question. Think about the apps you use every day. They're great, but they pretty much just follow a strict set of rules, right? But what if they could actually think? What if they could understand what's going on, adapt on the fly, and make smart choices all by themselves? That's exactly the jump we're going to explore. So to get there, we've got to lay down some groundwork first. Before we can build any of this cool stuff, we really need to nail the basics. And that starts with one simple thing. What's the real difference between just automation and an AI agent? And this really breaks it down nicely. On one hand, you have standard automation. Think of it as being rigid, totally predictable. It just follows a script. You put X in, you get Y out, every single time. But then you have the AI agent, and that's a whole different ballgame. It's flexible, it learns from data, it adapts, and it actually makes smart decisions. So a perfect way to think about old school automation is your basic coffee machine. You know the one. You set that timer for 7 a.m. and that's it. That machine is going to brew coffee at 7 a.m. on the dot every single day. Doesn't matter if you're sleeping in, on vacation, or already down to triple shot of espresso. It just follows the rule, period. Now, an AI agent, that's the smart coffee machine. It's kind of like a little digital person in there. It notices, hey, you keep hitting snooze on Saturdays. It learns your habits and starts thinking, you know what? I'm going to start brewing at 10 a.m. on weekends instead. Why? Because that's when you actually need it. It adapts. That's the key. So the big question is, how do we actually build these things? Well, that brings us to the tool we're going to be using for this whole journey. It's a platform called n8n. And what is n8n? It's pronounced n8n, by the way. In a nutshell, it's an open source, no-code tool that lets you build these super flexible AI workflows. The whole point is to make this stuff powerful but still really accessible, letting you just visually connect all your different apps. So why n8n? What's the big deal? Well, for starters, it's open source, which is awesome because it's totally transparent. It's also got this visual drag-and-drop canvas, so you don't need to be a coding genius to use it. But the real powerhouse feature? The integrations. We're talking over 500 connections to pretty much everything you can think of. Google, OpenAI, Telegram, you name it. Okay, enough theory. Theory's great, but let's actually build something. Time to get our hands dirty with our very first quest, building a super simple but really, really useful automation. Let's picture a super common scenario. Someone visits your website, they fill out a contact form. Normally, you'd have to manually copy their info, put it in a spreadsheet, write an email. What a pain. But with this workflow, the moment they hit submit, bam, step 1 is done. Then n8n instantly, step 2, zaps their info into a Google Sheet. And step 3, it shoots you a custom email alert. The whole thing happens in like less than a second. Okay, so for all these apps to talk to each other, they have to send information back and forth, right? And that data usually looks a little something like this. Okay, this is called JSON. And I know, the curly braces and quotation marks can look a little scary, but don't let it fool you. All it is a super clean, organized way for computers to pass data around. Seriously, that's it. Just think of it as the language that all your apps use to talk to each other. All right, so that first automation is pretty sweet. It's efficient, but it's still just following a recipe, right? It's not thinking. So now it's time to level up. Let's give this workflow a brain. So what does it even mean for an AI agent to be smart? I like to think of it like building a digital human. It's got 3 main parts. First, you need a brain. That's a large language model, or LLM, for all the thinking and reasoning. Then you need memory, so it can actually remember what you've talked about before. And finally, you need tools, the ability to use other apps, like a calendar or a calculator, to get stuff done. And adding this brain power in n8n is actually pretty simple. It's really just 3 steps. 1, you drag in an AI node, connecting it to something like OpenAI or Gemini. 2, you write a good, smart prompt to give it some context. And 3, and this part is absolutely crucial, you have to tell it exactly how you want the answer back. And here's what that looks like in the real world. You see, we're not just telling it, hey, write a friendly email. We're being super specific. We're saying draft the email, but, and here's the magic, give me the output as a clean JSON object, with one key for the subject and another for the body. Why do we do this? Because that structure is what lets our other automation steps grab that info and actually use it. Okay, a single AI agent is powerful, no doubt. But when you start dealing with really complex problems, well, one agent isn't enough. It's time for the master level. It's time to build a team. And this is probably the best analogy for it. Think of a multi-agent system like a company. You've got your CEO, that's the supervisor agent. The CEO doesn't do all the work, right? They get a request, they figure out what needs to be done, and then they delegate it to the right department. That's exactly what the supervisor does. It sends tasks off to specialized agents, the calendar agent, the research agent, the email agent. So let's walk through an example. A user just says, hey, schedule a meeting with Alex for next Tuesday. The supervisor agent, the CEO, sees this. It picks up on schedule and meeting and immediately knows, this is a job for the calendar department. So it routes that request to the specialist calendar agent. That agent has the tools, it checks the calendar, finds a slot, creates the event, and then reports back. Super efficient, super specialized, just really powerful. So this is awesome. We've built these incredible digital brains inside n8n. But how do we, actually use them? How do we connect them to the outside world so a customer on a website or a teammate in an app can talk to them? The magic piece that makes this happen is called a webhook. And honestly, the easiest way to think about a webhook is like a private phone number for your workflow. It's a unique URL that you can give to another app, and whenever that app calls that number or sends data to that URL, it instantly kicks your n8n workflow into gear. So really, the webhook is the bridge. It's the critical link that connects that powerful brain you built in the background with n8n to, well, pretty much anything on the front end. Could be a website, a chatbot, a mobile app, you name it. And there you have it. We've gone all the way from simple follow-the-rules tasks to building smart, collaborative teams of AI agents that can power real applications. We've literally laid out the path from zero to hero. So now, there's really only one question left to ask. What are you going to build first?